Thunderbolts, or Thunderbolts Asterisk, is directed by Jake Schreier. This is a new action dramedy set within the MCU. It's like the 37th, 38th, 39th, 40th MCU movie. We've all lost track at this point. Obviously, you've got Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, David Harbour as the Red Guardian. Louis Pullman is in this movie as a person that I will not identify, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Hannah John Kamen as Ava, aka Ghost, who last appeared in, I think, the second Ant-Man movie, Wyatt Russell, who shows up as U.S. Agent, or the former Captain America. You saw him on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Ensnared in a deadly trap, a highly skilled group of anti-heroes must put aside their differences and work together to free themselves while also dealing with their ghosts and the traumas of their past. Oh, and Taskmaster is in this movie, if you wanted to know. Yep, whole lot of Taskmaster. I wasn't really sure what to expect from this movie, to be honest. I was intrigued, but not necessarily excited, if that makes sense. Mostly, I just thought, you know, it's gonna have that Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy type of feel, where you bring together a ragtag group of misfits or anti-heroes, and you try to bring them together in a story that makes sense, where they can all, like, develop as characters. Like, I get it, that's the basic idea. We've seen that premise over the years in other comic book movies. Props to this movie, though, for high-level execution. This movie feels a little bit different than the Suicide Squad clones that we've seen over the last few years. If anything, it does remind me a little bit of Guardians, in the sense that you're bringing together a group of people who wouldn't normally be together and don't want to be together, but due to circumstances, they're forced to work together, and then you just kind of slowly see that bond form over the course of the movie. That reminds me a little bit of Guardians. Mostly, I would say the execution lies in, like, the focus of the movie and what they're actually trying to accomplish here. Because this is not a typical spy thriller or action comedy type of MCU movie. Yes, those elements are absolutely here, but there's a lot of heavier things in this Marvel movie that I was not expecting. This movie is way darker and way more emotional than I would have expected. It is actually tackling some pretty heavy thematic material here, and I would say it's tackling it pretty effectively. Like, I would say it's like a Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis type of tackle that they're doing in this movie, for anybody who watches football like me. But this is probably the most well-balanced movie in terms of, like, humor and action and personal and emotional stakes that I've seen in a while, maybe since Guardians Volume 3. A lot of these characters, some people are not going to be as familiar with them, but I will say you don't have to watch, like, a Disney Plus MCU show or a movie that they've been in for you to appreciate the performance that they're bringing to the screen here. Definitely an ensemble type of movie, but if we're keeping it real, I would say that Florence Pugh and Louis Pullman are definitely the co-leads, if a movie like this were to have co-leads. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, like, she's going through a lot in this movie, has been going through a lot over the last few years. Florence Pugh is an excellent actress, and she just brings all of that emotion to bear when she needs to, but she's also very charismatic, and she's also just very likable. Like, she's a very likable character. She should probably be a staple in the MCU going forward. I'm not going to spoil anything about Louis Pullman's role, just in case somebody doesn't know the character that he's playing, but he is playing a very iconic, in my opinion, comic book character, and I would say he knocks it out of the park, and there are some really dark places that his character goes to in this movie, but I don't want to say anything else. David Harbour is so good in this movie as the Red Guardian. He is the one definitely generating the most laughs. Also, like I said, Taskmaster is in the movie. Yep, Taskmaster shows up. Taskmaster is mastering those tasks, fulfilling a checklist of stuff that task people do. Also, shout out to the directing here. The directing here is really strong. Normally, Marvel movies feel like they fall off of an assembly line, but I gotta shout out the director here. There was some actual visual flair being used here, and some shots and some camera work that had me sitting back in the theater going, okay, oh, wait, is he in his bag right now? Did they let him get in his bag? I haven't said this about a Marvel movie in a long time, but the cinematography here is actually really, really good. There's great use of contrast and lighting and color grade in this movie to really give the film a more naturalistic look and feel to it. The action sequences are dynamic. There's wide takes. You can see what's going on. There's several action sequences in this movie that stand out in my mind. One in particular involving a character that I love from the comics that had me, like, losing my mind in the theater damn near, and I did not expect that going into this movie. This movie, while it has humor, is a lot heavier in terms of subject matter. This movie delves a lot into depression and isolation and loneliness. This movie has some stuff that it wants to say about trauma and about the trauma of our past that holds us back or keeps us from moving forward. The trauma of our past, how it affects us and how it affects the people around us that we love. Like, this movie, it's going after all of that, and it's going after it in a way that feels very poignant and feels very important and feels very urgent. tangent, and that is not something that I've said about a Marvel movie in a long time. Stay after for the post-credit scene. I'm not talking about for the mid-credit scene. I'm talking about post-credit. I'm not gonna lie, over the last like 5 to 10 years, it feels like Marvel's been mailing it in with their post-credit scenes. Most of them are stupid or don't have anything to do with anything. It's the first time in a long time after a Marvel movie that I was actually excited after the post-credit scene. Like, I'm looking forward to what they're doing afterward. No spoilers, but check out that post-credit scene. Now, of course, there are some problems and issues with this movie, even with as much glaze and praise that I just laid at the feet of the whole thing. The first 30 minutes, from a tonal standpoint, were a little bit rough. There are some tonal inconsistencies there. There are some times where this movie is trying to be a typical Marvel movie, especially in the first half hour. There are some jokes and some gags that don't really land, and some that do feel a little bit forced. I would say after the 30-minute mark is when the movie kind of settles in. I would also say the movie ends a little bit too abruptly, and there's not a lot of context given for what exactly happens. Like, the movie just kind of ends and you're like, oh wait, and you have questions, but not questions where you're like, ooh, I'm speculating and I'm theorizing about what this means. More so questions like, why did that happen? While everyone in the ensemble pretty much gets their own time to shine. Even Taskmaster. Yep, Taskmaster has a moment. It's an ensemble, and not every character is going to get a lot of great material to work with. Some of the characters did get lost in the shuffle. Some of the characters didn't get fleshed out or developed nearly as much as I personally wanted them to, especially when you look at how the movie handled the end of the movie and how they're going for something where it's a little bit more emotional, it's a little bit more character based. I feel like there were some missed opportunities there that they didn't really take advantage of. In the end, Thunderbolts was really, really awesome, guys. I gotta say, I'm a little bit pleasantly shocked at the outcome here. Shout out to the filmmaking, shout out to Taskmaster, because Taskmaster was a presence in this movie. Definitely a presence. Big presence. Thunderbolts was actually a really dope-ass time at the movies. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. All right, so we're in Phase 5, people. What is your favorite Phase 5 project? We can be talking TV show, we can be talking movie. Go ahead and put that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.